Hi, this is Kunal Kemmu and it's my story. I was born in Srinagar in 83, 25th May. I lived there. I used to actually travel a lot between Bombay and Srinagar at times because my dad was here. And sometime in 87, they were shooting for a show there called Gul Gulshan Gulfam for Doordarshan. My mum and my dad were both in it. And I remember going to that set very often. And one of those days, Mr. Vedrahi, who was the director of that show, said ki, "Beta, tu ghumta rehta hai, you want to be in this? You want to do this one scene?" And I said, "Okay, well, why not?" I mean, up until then, I wasn't sure what this is all about, but I just ended up doing that one scene in that. Cut to, I think 2 years later, when 89 or 90, when we were in Bombay, he was doing a show for Doordarshan again called Chitra Kathaएं, which was a lot of these stories being put together episodic, and there was one particular story called Jhoot Ka Alarm, which he was casting for, and he wanted my mum to be the mother in that, and he asked me, he said, "Hey, I remember working with you, why don't you just play this part? It's a very nice part and you'll enjoy doing it." And I remember having a sense of comfort with him, and I was like, my mum is also going to be there, so I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And that I did that one particular thing, and then I also had the opportunity to work with Ashok Kumar and Rishikesh Mukherjee, and I remember I just did this. It was a show, and I don't know if I did one episode or 2 episodes, but I just wanted to be on the same set with Ashok Kumar and Rishikesh Mukherjee because I'd known Rishikesh Da because of my dad a little bit, and I did that show. I don't know what that show was called, but I did that, and that was my stint with acting. So I thought, and I remember I used to go to Delhi to my nani's and my masi's house for every vacation, Diwali or summer vacations. And I remember one of these vacations I was watching Dil on television with my cousins, and my dad called me and said, "Hey, listen, so somebody got in touch with me and there's a film with Amir Khan and Juhi Chawla, do you want to do it?" I was like, "I'm watching Amir Khan right now on Dil." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "It's a film." I said, "I don't know." He said, "I don't know. I mean, I want to." I mean, this is again amazing. My dad at the age of 7 is asking me if I want to do something or not, and I had to make this decision. And he said, "This is what it is. It's a film. Both of these guys are in it, and it's about these 3 kids." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it. Why not?" And I was flown into Bombay, and I remember the first day I was at ISKCON. And if you remember Hum Mera Ye Pyar Ke, it's a scene where our Mama Ji takes us to see a rock concert, what we think, but we end up watching a Bharatnatyam performance. And I don't even know what happened that day. I was there, I was sitting and I was watching, and I did something, and there was this man behind the camera known as Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, who everybody was calling sir, and I was like, "Who is this person?" I didn't know who a director was and what. I mean, I saw Amir Khan, I was like, "Hey, I've seen this guy on television, cool." And card, "Oh, great, something, it made no sense to me. And like the first 5-6 days, I didn't even know what was happening. Hasi Khel mein Hum Mera Ye Pyar Ke happened, and Bhatt Saab and I kind of developed a relationship which was very special because he treated me as an equal. He spoke to me like an adult always. He never kind of treated me like a kid. And I used to enjoy what I did, and then started this journey. And I never wanted to play a hero ka bachpana. I was very clear. I was like, no, I'm never going to play a hero ka bachpana because I'll do all the work and then the hero will grow up and he'll be celebrated, because that's how I remember all the films. But Bhatt Saab was the only director for whom I did do hero ka bachpana more than once. And one of those was Angare, where I played young Akshay Kumar. And then, of course, Zakhm, which I think was the most important film of my life, if not my career. In between that, I had some films like Raja Hindustani and Bhai that stood out, which I really enjoyed doing. But Zakhm was the film where I was 15, it was my 10th standard, I was almost not about to do it, and Bhatt Saab said, "I will not make the film," and I was like, no, of course I'll do it. Treated like a star on that film. And that was a film that kind of, once I did, I took a note of the fact that I really enjoy doing this. I think I'm half decent in it. I should definitely try to be an actor. And that's when I decided, despite the will of my parents, to take commerce as opposed to science, and did theatre for all those 5 years. And after that, I didn't know how to say this to my parents, that I'm a hero banna chahta hu or something. But I said, "Listen, I want to take a year off before I kind of do MBA or something. But I want to take this year off and, get a few pictures done, go meet Bhatsab and see if I can be an actor. And I think, of course, my parents supported me, but they were very wary of the fact that it's an industry that can lead to a heartbreak before, something that makes you happy. So he was like, okay, do it, take a year, and it was an honest deal. I said, I'll try this for a year. If it doesn't work, I'll do something else. And within 6 months, I remember once I met Pooja and I met Bhatsab, and Bhatsab immediately said, of course I'll launch you. I want to make a film with you. And 6 months down the line, he offered me a film called Kalyug, which was called Blue Film then, and nobody wanted to do it. I think that's why it ended up being my film, because nobody else wanted to do it. But no, I mean, I heard the story and I loved it. And I said, you call this film Bond film and I'll do it, because I love the story. Anyways, it got called Kalyug then. And that started my journey as a adult actor again. And I loved being a part of that film. I learned a lot on that set and during the making of that film. And I'm very thankful to that film, because it kind of gave me that push that any newcomer would want. And then I did a film called Traffic Signal after that. And then I wanted to try my hand at comedy, and then that's how Dhol happened. And then there were films like Superstar, which I loved and people loved, but was my first flop. And that was the first time I had to deal with, I don't know if I was heartbroken, but because honestly I didn't understand business of films, and I was 21 in Kalyug, I was 23, 24, and I'd only seen films that had done well, so that was what I thought was right. And promotions had just about started, corporates were just about coming in, the business was changing. So I don't know, I felt bad about the fact that this was the first time I remember they said 18% opening lagi hai. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay, that's a really bad number, because even in school you need 35 to pass, and this sounds like it's failed. And but again, critics loved the film, and I thought appreciation is what's most important. Later I learned that it's important, but box office success is what's most important. And then I had my brush with a couple of failures, but I still realized that I just enjoy being in front of the camera, and I had never understood that it comes on the shoulders of a so-called hero or the leading man of a film to kind of, it's your hit, it's your flop, and that what will decide your future, not just your talent. And I used to always feel that if I'm good at what I do, I'll keep getting opportunities to do what I want to do. But I realized that that wasn't the case. So anyway, so we kept doing films, and there were some films that kind of stood out, which I loved, were like 99, which very recently got listed in the top 50 films by the Mint. And that was great. And I remember there was some issue when that released, because there was some strike that was going on, and there were new producers in the film, and they decided to break the strike and release the film. So even though it was loved and appreciated, it kind of got blacklisted from within the industry. And I found out that later, because again, at that point of time, I wasn't taking so much interest in business and everything else. I was just worried about the script, the performance, and the film. That happened, and then then there were more films, and then Golmaal series came my way, and I did Golmaal, and I enjoyed doing that. And I realized that there is a big mad audience for a film like that, and I thoroughly enjoyed working in it. And then the comedy stint kept going, and then again there was a path-breaking film like Go Goa Gone that happened, which I kind of found out that I loved writing, and I ended up writing it and the dialogues for everybody, and I really enjoyed doing that. So that was a fulfilling experience. Then there were films like Blood Money. Then eventually there was Bhag Johnny and some more averages and not great successes. Then it came to a point where I got married, and then I just wanted to take some time off. And that's when the bubble burst in me that it's not just the script that's most important, because a lot of times you work really hard on films, but they don't get the releases. And you might have a film that you worked hard on, which has one show at 7 in the morning at some theatre that nobody knows about. And that was when the fans reached out to me and said, hey, listen, we really love that trailer, we want to watch that film, when is it going to come out? And it killed me to kind of say that it's come and gone, because they didn't even know about it. And that's when I realized that it's not just about the script, it's about a production house that can make sure that it releases well. It's about a lot more than that. So I took some time off to figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to go about it. And after that I came back with Kalank, Then there's another film with Fox Star Studios, which is a comedy that's going to come out now. That, Abhay, and so like this was a new thing that came out. And with Kalank, it was again a different part, completely breaking away from the comedies that I did. I was very lucky that Karan even thought of me for that part, and he called me one day and said, "Hey, I'm making this film called Kalank," and I said, "Everybody knows about it and the star cast that is in it." He said, "Yeah, so there is this part, which is a very important part." And when I heard it, I was like, how did he even consider me for something like this? Because it's important and it's so not what people see Kunal Kemmu as. And I took it on, and I'm very happy that I did. And the kind of feedback that's come my way after Kalank has been amazing. And that's my story so far. Hi, this is Kunal Kemmu, and it's my story.